Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Reel Me In, a movie podcast where you didn't really ask for it, but hey, I'm going to give it to you anyways. This is a podcast where I talk about anything, everything, and, well, anything about movies. I'm your host, Chase Lee, and how you guys doing? You guys doing pretty well today? You guys kicking it on a Sunday, going to see some movies? I don't know what the fuck you guys do. You guys have to talk to me. I feel like I'm talking to a wall. So we have a pretty interesting show this week. I'm going to talk about my day at South by Southwest, which I went on last Monday. I saw two movies, and I will review one of them on the show today. I told you guys it was a secret. You guys have no idea which one I'm going to review, but if you've been following me on my social media stuff, you probably have an idea of what it is, but for all of you that don't know, it'll be a nice surprise, and it'll just come at you really hard in the face, and you're going to be like, whoa, we didn't see that coming. So that sounded like a porno subtitle. I'm also going to discuss a bunch of movie news that dropped this week. By a lot, I mean 3 pieces of news, and then of course some trailers, go over South by, and then box office results for the weekend, and then we'll close this thing out. So it was a pretty slow news week. I'm not gonna lie, I really had to struggle to find something to talk about for you guys. But before I get started, as you guys will hear, that I finally got internet, and I got my microphone plugged in so you guys don't have to hear me talking to my phone and sound like I'm talking through a gutter using a red Solo cup and a piece of string. So I'm glad to have some good quality back. So let's get started, guys. All right, the piece of news that I have today, let's start with the Scarface remake. Yeah, you guys heard right. Scarface is being remade for a second time. What? Did I just say a second time? Ah, you're fucking right, I did. Listen, the Scarface with Al Pacino is a remake from a 1930s film. I believe the 1930s film was an Italian gangster. The Al Pacino one was a Cuban gangster. So they're going to remake Scarface for a third time, and it's going to be a Mexican gangster. And it's going to be set in Los Angeles, so basically it's like playing Grand Theft Auto 5, which sounds badass to me. And it's going to be... the news is that... Well, that is the news, but like they have a writer on it, and the writer is Jonathan Herman. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, holy shit, that guy's awesome, but not really, because I don't know what he's done. That's okay. I don't think anyone has seen anything he's done, because as far as I know, the only thing that he has done so far is a movie that hasn't even come out yet, and that comes out in, I think, August or September, and that's Straight Outta Compton. Now, if you guys have been listening to the podcast, I remember, what was it, like 3 weeks ago when the trailer dropped? Holy shit, that trailer was amazing, and now Straight Outta Compton is like one of my most anticipated for the year now. It just looks like a really good biopic of Ice Cube and Dr. Dre and the other guys. I'm sorry, I try to sound really gangster and thug, but as you guys know, I'm a really tall white guy, so I can't really pull that off. So, yeah, this news is interesting, and I think the way we have to look at it is this. We have not seen Straight Outta Compton yet. I have not seen it. Most people have not seen it. But from what we can see in the trailer, it looks like a really good film. Now, if we see Straight Outta Compton and it's terrible, and we start hearing reviews that it's terrible, then we might be a little bit worried for the Scarface remake. Because here's the deal. I really don't... As much as I hate remakes and reboots and stuff, I don't care, like, because for the most part they suck anyways, and we have the original and they're there. But yes, for the most part I hate them, but at the same time we have to deal with it, and they're not going to really compete with the original, so I'm okay with it. But you know, Straight Outta Compton looks really, really promising, and so I actually have high hopes for Scarface now, because it is written by, you know, this guy who has done this movie to where the trailer looks good. So we're kind of just going off the trailer for right now. But if Straight Outta Compton comes out and people are raving about it, and people absolutely just fucking love this thing, then we can go, you know what? Maybe a Mexican gangster version of Scarface set in Los Angeles would sound pretty cool. And it actually sounds like Grand Theft Auto, like I said, because when you play Grand Theft Auto 5, like, it's pretty much set in Los Angeles. And you kind of get that feel from it. So I would actually be really interested in this remake, so for a third time. So Jonathan Herman, writer of Straight Outta Compton, doing the Scarface remake, and it's going to be a Mexican gangster set in Los Angeles. Sounds okay with me so far, until we hear otherwise. The next piece of news is that this is a weird piece of news. Very fucking weird. Fraggle Rock. It was a popular show back in the day. Kind of spanned across global audiences, and, you know, it had a lot of followers and stuff. Apparently, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is going to be in it, probably write it, produce it. He's going to be a part of a live-action Fraggle Rock. Okay, like, okay, listen. Out of all the podcasts I've seen this week, and all the news stories I've seen, like, everyone has the same reaction. It's like, that's kind of weird. Like, it's weird, and I don't really know what to make of it, and I feel the same way. Like, I really don't know what to make of that. Like, it's just kind of a weird piece of news that dropped. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's fantastic. I like him as an actor, and I think Don John, his first directorial debut and writing, you know, it was good. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I just know that he's going to get better from there. And just Fraggle Rock. Okay. I honestly, I don't know what to say, guys. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's doing a live Fraggle Rock. That's all I can make of that. So take with it what you will. So the next piece of news and the final piece is that Captain America Civil War, which is the Marvel film that starts off Phase 3, and it comes out next May. So it actually comes out within almost a year. Like, it's crazy how fast it's going to come. It starts shooting in a couple weeks in Atlanta, or... yeah, it's probably Atlanta, I think, or Louisiana, I forgot. It's somewhere over there. The synopsis for Civil War came out, and it reads as the following. Following the events of Age of Ultron, the collective governments of the world pass an act designed to regulate all superhuman activity. This polarizes opinion amongst the Avengers, causing two fractions to side with Iron Maiden, Iron Man, or Captain America, which causes an epic battle between the former allies. That sounds awesome. I think when we first heard Civil War drop last year, like in October when Marvel announced their Phase 3 slate, for all of us that have read the graphic novel, I am not one of them. I have heard about it, though. I know for a fact that Captain America and Iron Man pick sides as to whether to show your face or keep a mask on in society. And, of course, that can really apply to this universe and the movie universe because everyone wears or does not wear masks and stuff, and people know who everyone is, so you can't really work with that. So here in this synopsis, it makes total sense. And when I get into the trailers in just a second, I'll explain it a little bit more. But as far as the synopsis goes, it sounds perfect. It sounds exactly the route and the direction that, you know, Marvel wants to take this universe and this storyline. So it works for me. And plus, after we see Age of Ultron, I think we'll get a better idea of how the fraction between, you know, the Avengers is going to split everyone, and who's going to go with Iron Man, who's going to go with Captain America. I'm super excited. I mean, guys, I'm a super geek. I love Marvel films. I love DC films, and I've already bought my ticket to Age of Ultron. Me and my roommate are going to see it that Sunday of that weekend. It comes out, and we're super excited. So I can't wait to see Age of Ultron and see how it kind of, you know, snowballs into Civil War. So I'm looking forward to it, but the synopsis sounds cool. With that being said, let's jump into the trailers for this week. But if you guys have any comments on the news or whatever, comment that place where I upload my voice and let me know. The trailers. So speaking of Civil War, let's start with that Avengers Age of Ultron TV spot. So it dropped out of nowhere. It was a 30-second spot. It was a minute spot, excuse me. And I watched it. And I won't spoil anything for you guys because I know some of you do not want to see any more trailers for this movie. You just want to see the movie already. I understand that. So I'm just going to be very vague. The trailer was very good, and it was actually one of my favorite ones out of this whole marketing campaign. It was a minute long, straight and to the point. It was it was a lineup trailer where it was like the title card would come up, Iron Man, it would show clips of Iron Man, Captain America, boom. It was like this really cool lineup for like a sports event. It got your blood pumping, your adrenaline going. You're just like, oh fuck yeah! It was like watching a cartoon. It was awesome. But the trailer was just great. It just gets you more pumped up for the movie. And I tell myself I'm not going to watch any more footage. I just want to see the movie. But in all reality, if something comes out, I will probably watch it online, trailer-wise. So, but as far as connection to Civil War, at the beginning of the trailer, you can kind of see the riff between Iron Man and Captain America, and they set it very, straightforward in the trailer, like right off the bat. So it's like, oh shit, like Civil War is going to be intense. So I love the Avengers Age of Ultron TV spot. I understand why people don't want to watch it. They kind of just want to watch the movie. So I thought it was great. It was definitely one of the best trailers that they pumped out for this campaign so far. Like the last trailer and this TV spot are my favorite for sure. So the next trailer, it actually just dropped an hour ago from this recording. So I gotta cover it now. Mission Impossible 5. Now, I reported a while back that Mission Impossible 5 was not going to be released in December, and it was going to be released in July. And that's a huge jump, and you're thinking to yourself, will they have everything done in time? They actually just got done shooting like either a week ago or 2 weeks ago, so they have 3 months to do the final touches on it. And you're probably thinking to yourself, oh shit, they got to edit the whole thing and sound design, color, and music and all that stuff in 3 months. No. Listen, guys, when the film industry, they're filming a movie and they film a specific scene or whatever for that day, they will take the dailies for that and they'll pack it up and they will ship it straight to the studio editing bay, and they'll start on it. Like they get started. Like the assistant editor will take all the clips and they'll name it all and get everything prepped up for the editor. So he'll come out in and do that scene and stuff. So it's constantly going. So does it worry me that they just got done filming like a couple weeks ago or whatever, and they're just now really ramping up on post production? Not really, because they've been doing music and all that stuff. They've been getting ready for their footage to come in and stuff and get to work on it. So I have no doubts that they're going to reach their deadline. But as far as the trailer goes, it's only like a minute long, and it just shows you a bunch of action clips and a bunch of set pieces that Ethan Hunt goes through, Tom Cruise, and all the actors, Simon Pegg, Jeremy Renner and stuff. So it looks cool. It really does. And I really liked I actually like Mission Impossible 3, the one J.J. Abrams did, and I really like Ghost Protocol, the one that came out last, and that was one Brad Bird did. So, Mission Impossible just keeps getting better and better. It's like the Fast and Furious franchise. So, the trailer was really cool. It just kind of teased you a little bit, whet your appetite, and I was totally fine with it. It was just really, really cool action, really cool stunt work. And so I can't wait to see Mission Impossible 5. So the next trailer is Paper Towns, and this is based on a book, and the book is written by John Green, and he also wrote the book for The Fault in Our Stars. I saw The Fault in Our Stars. I really liked it. A lot of people think or thought it was like manipulation, emotional manipulation and stuff, and it was just too hokey and too cheesy. I really enjoyed it, and I really like a good romance movie, especially like really hardcore dramatic ones that deal with like cancer and stuff. I don't know, it hits you harder, and it just makes for a really depressing experience, but a really good, film experience as well. Paper Towns basically follows, this guy. He's really in love with his neighbor, and she hangs out with him and stuff. But then one day she goes missing, and so they're trying to figure out where she's at and stuff. And he still loves her, and he wants to go after her. And so it looks cute. It looks like it'll be enjoyable. So I'll check it out for sure, because I really like The Fault in Our Stars, like I said. I know a lot of people that don't like it at all, but I will definitely check out Paper Towns for sure. The next one is Pixels. This is the Adam Sandler, Kevin James, Josh Gad movie. Peter Dinklage is also in it. And basically, NASA sends out video games that were popular, like, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and all that stuff, and they send it out to space. If like life forms were to reach and capture the capsule or whatever, they would open it up and be like, oh, this is what Earthlings are like. But they take the video games and they use it as weapons, and so aliens release like a giant version of Pac-Man or Donkey Kong or whatever, and they release it upon Earth, and they start killing people. It was kind of a weird trailer, I'm not gonna lie. It was very choppy. It was just edited very strangely. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it was very choppy. That was probably my way. And like the jokes didn't work, and I mean visually it kind of looked cool. I do kind of like the look of the actual video game personalities themselves, like Pac-Man and stuff, like the pixels and the way they kind of glow and stuff, and they kind of like dissipate if you touch them and stuff. That kind of looks really cool and stuff. So visually it kind of looks cool, and the story was very interesting, like at the beginning of the trailer. But like as soon as like, I'm sorry, Adam Sandler, but as soon as you came on, I kind of lost it for me, and it wasn't funny. It looks kind of stupid, but I'll check it out. It looks better than like most of the recent Adam Sandler movies. And listen, I love you, Adam. I really do. And I really want you to do more dramatic stuff. And I don't mind if you do comedies, if you make them good. But this one just doesn't look good. I mean, I could be wrong. I could watch it and I could be like, wow, I put my foot in my mouth. Like, that was actually really good. So, it was a very choppy trailer. I didn't really care for it. But that wasn't the worst trailer of the week. The worst trailer was Transporter Refueled. First of all, that is a stupid fucking name for a movie. Listen, after Matrix Reloaded came out, I think we should have known right then and there that like we don't need any reloadeds or refuels or recharge or any dumbass fucking titles like that. It just sounds cheap and generic, and this trailer is cheap and generic. I'm sorry, but listen. I realize that Run All Night has just come out. I realize Taken 3 came out earlier in the year. I realize The Gunman hit theaters this weekend. But this trailer looks like every fucking movie like that. This guy, he's been out of the game for a while, and he gets like, a task to do one last thing one more time. Fuck you! I'm so sick and tired of seeing that fucking story. And this just looks stupid. Like, listen, I realize that the Transporter movies with Jason Statham, it's about this guy that delivers packages or whatever, and, that's all he is just a transporter of goods. Jason Statham can sell a movie. I like Jason Statham. But the guy that got to replace him, he looks so stupid. He looks like he crawled out of he looks like he crawled out of Abercrombie and Finch's, like, ass, and he was just like, alright, I'm all tough, man, let me put some more baby oil on me. And, he's fighting in the movie, and like it just looks stupid and generic and just pointless. And it's like, why is this going to theaters? Just put it on VOD and put it on the dumping grounds where like no one can see it and call it a day. It fucking looks stupid. Check out if you want to. Anyways, that's it for all the trailers that came out this week. Comment in that place where I upload my voice and let me know what you thought of all the trailers and what was your favorite, what was your least favorite. So that's it for the news and trailers, guys. So let's get to my day at South by Southwest. Yes, that is right, ladies and gentlemen. I went there for one day. I live in Dallas, so Austin is only 3 hours away from me, so it was a very lonely drive. Actually, I went by myself, but I met up with Scott Menzel, who is the founder and creator of We Live Film, and it's a really good YouTube channel and a really good website where they do movie reviews and they do collabs and whatnot, and it's basically a YouTube and site for people to contribute and do their reviews. So it's not like Scott's doing reviews all the time. He does them every so often, but his channel is more geared towards like letting other people do stuff. And speaking of that, I'll do my plug. I do a segment on We Live Film on the YouTube channel, and it's a comedy segment, and I try to go over comedies, and I try to make it funny and entertaining for you guys, so check that out if you were bored. But other than that, Scott Menzel, he is the founder of We Live Film. He goes to South by Southwest every single year, and so this year he was going. I was like, hey, Scotty boy, I'll meet you down there. We can hang out or whatever. And he was really gracious. He got me some passes and stuff to go hang out with him for a day and watch some movies. So what did I see? Well, we'll get to that in just a second. So that was my first time at South by Southwest. It was crowded as fuck. There's people everywhere, and I keep forgetting that it's a film, music, and technology festival. And so I keep forgetting that there's 3 times more people than what I would normally see, because in Dallas, there's the Dallas International Film Festival, which I'll be attending in a couple weeks, but it's just film people. It's just films, It's not like music and all that stuff. So it was, oh my God, there was a lot of fucking people. I've never seen that before. And I've been to Austin several times because I've lived in Texas my whole life, but I've never seen it that busy because, Austin is the home of University of Texas and everything, and even then, I still had not seen that many people. This was absurd, and so I really liked it. It was, even though it was busy and there was a lot of people and stuff, it was really fun. And I talked to Scott, and hopefully I'll get to go back next year and kind of tag team with him, and we can kind of cover some movies together. But it was a really good time at the festival. And so what did I see? Well, the first movie I saw was a movie that came out 30 years ago, and that was The Breakfast Club, and it was the 30-year anniversary. It was really cool. I've never seen The Breakfast Club on the big screen. It came out 5 years before I was born. So even then, when I was a kid, holy shit! You guys hear that? Dear God. Okay, so I guess there's some fire, or someone got shot, or someone's on fire and they're getting shot at. Something's happening. Shit, that was loud. All right, anyways, I've never seen The Breakfast Club on the big screen. I saw bits and pieces on TV one time, and I never saw it in its entirety, even though I know all the iconic scenes and lines and stuff. So what's really funny is I actually saw Not Another Teen Movie, a movie that parodied The Breakfast Club before The Breakfast Club. That's how stupid and lame I am. So seeing The Breakfast Club on the big screen for the first time was really cool. I really like it. And seeing it in its entirety, I really loved it. And I really liked what I saw back in the day, but seeing it in its entirety, I sat back and I realized this movie is super relevant, and it's even more relevant today than it was back in the 80s. So it's just astounding how John Hughes makes timeless movies to where you could pop it in at any decade, any day, any month, or whatever, and it just seems very, applicable to today's times and stuff. And I really loved watching that, and being a part of the crowd and stuff. They were kind of joining along with all the songs and stuff, and it was just a really cool interactive experience that I will definitely not forget. Jeez, you guys hear the fucking helicopter too? There's just so much going on outside today. Shit, welcome to Dallas. But Breakfast Club is a very good film. I love John Hughes movies to death. But after seeing The Breakfast Club in its entirety for the first time, it's actually one of my favorites now. And it was really funny. It was really dramatic. And I told Scott after we got done watching the movie that this movie would not get made in today's time. I'm sorry, but this movie, it was small. It takes place all in a library. It's about 5 kids from different backgrounds. You got the jock, you got the prep, you got the loner, you got the bad boy, you got the geek, and they're all stuck in detention on a Saturday in their school in the library. So, they kind of get to know each other and stuff, and their characters develop naturally that way just by talking to each other and really breaking down why they don't hang out in school and why everyone should have a friend and stuff. Like I said, it's very relatable to today's time, and it's still an amazing movie to this day, according to people. Because I said, this was the first time I've fully seen it, but people that have seen it in the past, and people that were in the audience with me, they just like stood up and cheered because they just really love it, and I do too. Like, it was really great, and they brought out Molly Ringwald and Allison Sheedy, is that her name? The two women, the two teenage girls in the movie, and it was really cool to hear them talk and stuff. And I've been a huge Molly Ringwald fan because I have like seen Pretty in Pink and all of her other movies. Basically, her and John Hughes collabed a lot, and Molly Ringwald, she's a good looking lady, and she's still pretty hot when she's this old, and so I thought it was really cool to see her and Allison Sheedy on stage and just kind of talking about the movie and stuff. And I'll definitely buy The Breakfast Club on Blu-ray because that's what it was basically promoting, was its 30-year anniversary release on Blu-ray. So I'll definitely pick it up. It was just fantastic, guys. So, but that's not the movie I'm going to review because that movie's already been out for 30 years. So what did I see at nighttime? I saw the world premiere of Get Hard, starring Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell. And let me tell you, that was a hell of an experience. Not really necessarily in a good way, but it was a hell of an experience in the way I will remember that for a very long time. First of all, crowded theater. This thing was sold out in a heartbeat, and I stood in line. Me and Scott sat in the fourth row, and I looked behind me, and the whole first floor was full. The whole balcony was full because it was at the Paramount Theater, and that was the first time I've ever been to that theater, by the way. And it was a gorgeous theater. I really liked it, but packed theater. So the moderator comes out and she's like, "Here's the director, Ethan Cohen." Yeah, I'm not mispronouncing that. It's Eaton, not Ethan. Like Etan. That's it. And then Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart came out. They introduced the movie. It was really cool. They did kind of like a little gangster rap thing. It was adorable. It was adorable, guys. It got really dark within 3 seconds because Kevin Hart's like, "Yo, listen, if you don't like our movie, then you should go out in the street and kill yourself." Whoa, Mr. Hart, dear God, let's calm that down. So, yeah, he told everyone to go kill themselves if they didn't like it. So, I guess I'll half kill myself. And did I just release what I actually think about it? So, they introduced the movie, and then they left, and then we saw the movie. And then after the movie, only the director came out for a Q&A, and there was 2 microphones set up, and there was a lot of people that were asking questions, and I'll get to that after the review. The Q&A made headlines, so if you've seen headlines regarding Get Hard controversial with racism and stuff, I was a part of that screening, so I'll get to the Q&A afterwards. But as far as the movie goes, here's my review of Get Hard, starring Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell. Let's start with the directing. It's directed by Ethan Cohen, and he said on stage that he is a first-time director, and you can definitely tell. This movie, it kind of reeks of amateur and kind of laziness a little bit. It was just a very basic story. There was nothing more to it. Will Ferrell, I almost call him Will Hart. Kevin Farrell. Ugh. Okay, anyways. Will Ferrell plays this guy who works at this company, and he's arrested for embezzlement, and he has 30 days to get his act together before he goes to jail. And then we realized someone else framed him and stuff. And it felt like a really basic story that you would see in a 1990s action movie or even Naked Gun. It just seemed like a story for Naked Gun. It was just super basic. There was really nothing to it. And the bulk of the movie is Will Ferrell going to Kevin Hart, asking for help to help him get hard and get prepared for jail and stuff. And it's just basically a comedic set piece after comedic set piece. And there was just really no through line. It felt like a longer version of SNL or something. And it was just here's this set piece where Kevin Hart's going to teach him how to work out. And then, okay, boom, next one. This is where he's going to teach him how to create a shank or whatever. It was fine for what it was in terms of comedy. Because like I said, there were some parts that made me laugh super hard. There were some parts where it felt like they were trying very, very hard. Where the camera would stay on a certain joke for a good while, and they wouldn't even cut. And it would just stay on there, and it would kind of hammer it into you hey, laugh, laugh, laugh. that got kind of annoying, but like I said, the directing, it just felt lazy. Just there was really no through line. It was just like, hey, let's go from this set piece to this set piece, and then we'll kind of tie it together at the very end with a little twist or whatever to wrap up the story. So in that all in that regard, it was just okay. Like, you can tell it was directed by a first timer, and he was one of the co-writers, and there was 3 writers on this thing. Why? If you were writing a comedy, why do you need 3 fucking writers? You should only have 2 max. If you were by yourself, great. That means you can write jokes efficiently on your own. If you have a partner, that's okay. Go back and forth, come up with the stuff together. But if you have a third person, it just seems desperate. Like, you don't know what you're doing, and like you really need help in desperation to fix the script. So that's my thoughts on the directing and writing. In terms of the acting, Will Ferrell, man, I fucking love you, man, but this one was just, it was an okay performance from you. There was a couple funny lines that he had and stuff, but for the most part, he played the same bumbling idiot that we've seen multiple times. He's almost turning into an Adam Sandler where he's playing the same character over and over again. The only times where I thought that even worked in his career were Old School, Anchorman, and Step Brothers. But Old School is my favorite one in terms of him like being kind of like a blind idiot or whatever, adapting to situations and whatnot. It was funny to watch. Anchorman was funny, and then Step Brothers was funny. But this one was just kind of, it was very split for me. I was like, Will Ferrell, it seems like you're trying super, super hard to get a laugh. And that's what I kind of hated about my audience is like, yeah, it was a packed house, and I love seeing comedies with a lot of people in there because, you know, you feed off the energy, and it makes for a good time. But the audience will laugh at anything. There's one point in the movie where Will Ferrell shows his butt. That was it. He's just standing there naked. Was that supposed to be funny? Like, I'm sorry, but listen, guys, I see a lot of raunchy comedies. I see a lot of movies with dick jokes, sex jokes, crude jokes, fart jokes, you name it. But there's a difference between, like, you know, having raunchy humor but told in a creative way, and then have raunchy humor just for the sake of being raunchy to try to get a rise out of your audience, and it feels like you're trying too hard. This just felt like it was trying too hard in most of the time for Will Ferrell, and I don't know, man. He's starting to slip for me, but what really elevated the movie was Kevin Hart. I loved Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell's chemistry. That was actually my favorite part about the film. And every time when Kevin Hart came on screen, every time when he uttered a line, it was very funny because the way he delivers it is loud and bombastic at times, and I really like that because he delivers it in kind of like his Hart-isms way, and it really delivers. So Kevin Hart was definitely my favorite part of the entire film. As far as the supporting cast go, you know, Alison Brie is just wasted as Will Ferrell's gold digger wife, and you know, Will Ferrell got to grab her tits, so I guess that's something. Lucky for him. Craig T. Nelson's in it, and T.I.'s in it. That's about it. Like, I don't remember most of the supporting cast. It's all about the Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart chemistry. That's what I think works, is when they're both on screen. But in terms of like them separately, Kevin Hart's great separately. Will Ferrell not so much. So the acting overall was, you know, it was fine, I guess, for this comedy, but Kevin Hart really sold it for me. Cinematography-wise, it's a comedy. There was really nothing new, nothing spectacular. It was just basic cinematography. The editing, it was an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes. It was entertaining enough to kind of keep that pace and keep that rhythm going of the comedy. Because listen, jokes in a comedy fuel the movie. If your movie is not funny, then you have a dead movie, and it's just awkward to like kind of look around, and it's like, oh, who the fuck is laughing in this audience? No one. So the jokes are the fuel. For the most part, the jokes are about 50-50. There's like 50% of the jokes that work, 50% that don't for me. But for the most part, it is still an entertaining movie just to see Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell act together on screen. So in that regard, I'll say it goes by pretty fast, and it's very entertaining to watch. Overall, I can't get this to fresh, guys. I got to give it a 5 out of 10. It was enjoyable. It was okay. It was definitely not one of my favorite comedies. But in terms of like compared to Unfinished Business, is what... because that's what I talked about last week, I believe. It's like gold compared to that. Unfinished Business is like terrible, a terrible fucking piece of just ball sack. But like this one, you know, it's not bad, but it's also not good. It's just okay in my opinion. So 5 out of 10. That's my review for Get Hard. And then after the movie, here's where it got interesting. The Q&A. So the director came out, and Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart did not come out. They had to go touch each other's buttholes. I don't know. So the director came out, and so he was asking questions. Right off the bat, a lot of people left because they wanted to hear from Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart. Understandable. The first question was this little girl, and she's like, well, is Will Ferrell coming out? And the director was like, nope, just me. And she was like, oh, well, this question was for Will. And it was something like, how would Ron Burgundy act in the situation if he had 30 days to get hard before he went to jail? It was a cute question, move on, but the next question got interesting. So me and Scott are sitting in the fourth row, and there's a microphone next to us. So we're sitting next to the aisle, and so this guy comes up, and he pretty much set this ball in motion. So he was like, so how does it feel that your movie is racist as fuck? Like, that's what he said, and me and Scott right off the bat were just like, oh shit, this Q&A is going to get very interesting. So he says that, and the director, he says the very directory answer. He's like, we walk that thin line of trying not to like offend anyone, but also be entertaining and blah, 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 blah. So he told a traditional answer. And then the guy at the microphone was like, I'm not done yet. And then the director's like, well, you're about to be done. And like, it was just got really awkward. It's almost like they were trying to fight or something. And then the guy at the microphone rebutted back, and he was like, what do you say? Oh, yeah. He was like, did you screen this in front of any audience? Like at all? Like in front of people? And then the director replied, yes, we held a screening around the time of the Ferguson case. What? It just made it even more awkward and more, I guess, to his point, I guess. I don't know. It was just a really awkward Q&A after that point. After that guy, we left. But apparently after me and Scott left, 2 hours later, the article was already up saying, Get Hard, controversial, and racist and stuff. Apparently after they quoted that guy, they quoted a third person, and the person basically said, how do you feel about the movie being homophobic? And I forgot what the director said in the article, but anyways, I was there for half of that controversial Q&A, so if you guys have seen articles on that or whatever, I was a part of that, and I feel awesome, because that was probably the best Q&A I've ever sat through, even though it was awkward as shit. So, is the movie racist? Yeah, but I mean, like, it's stereotypes. It's stereotypes meant for the movie, and that doesn't even bother me. It's just kind of like they were stupid stereotypes, so that doesn't really bother me in terms of racism. If anything, like I said, I agree with the third person in terms of it being homophobic. Now, there's some gay jokes in there. There's some penis jokes in there, particularly in a scene where Will Ferrell has to he has to learn how to suck dick, basically, in prison. So him and Kevin Hart go to like a gay cafe or whatever, and they pick out someone, they go to the bathroom and stuff, and he tries to blow him. In a way, it is kind of homophobic because Will Ferrell's like really disgusted and stuff, and it does kind of put out a wrong message towards that crowd. I support gay marriage and stuff. I have no clue why anyone loses their shit for people that want to love someone. It irks the shit out of me. One of my friends from elementary school and stuff, and I've known him since the 4th grade. He's gay. I don't have a problem with that. Like, I really don't. Like, he's a cool guy. His boyfriend's cool. I've met him before. So I don't have any issue with people wanting to love who they want to love, and it irritates the fuck out of me. So there you go, David Keene. That is your shout out. But in terms of it being homophobic, like I said, if anything, it'd be more homophobic than racist. But even then, I still don't think that's like pure homophobic. Like, it was funny the way it was kind of portrayed and kind of edited. So I guess in a weird, sick way, I kind of thought it was, semi-funny. So, it was a pretty funny scene because in Unfinished Business, there's actually a scene that's kind of similar that deals with like penises and stuff, but that was like totally forced and stuff. At least with Get Hard, it was actually kind of funny. So I mean, like I said, I guess I'm weird and twisted that way. So that was the Q&A for the movie, guys, and that was my review for Get Hard. 5 out of 10. I wouldn't really suggest a movie per se. I wouldn't really suggest it. I wouldn't suggest it at full price at all. I would suggest maybe matinee if you're bored, if you like Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart. But in terms of if you want to really wait, I would suggest Blu-ray and DVD when it comes out. So that's my thoughts on Get Hard, guys. And thank you, Scott Menzel, for allowing me to come to South by Southwest with you and hang out with you for the day and going to the world premiere of Get Hard. It was fun, even though the movie was okay. So can't wait to do it again next year. So that's it, guys, for the bulk of the podcast for the South by Southwest portion. If you guys have gone to South by Southwest and if you enjoyed yourself or if you had a good time, let me know. Like, I want to know, like, what are you guys' experiences on South by Southwest? So, yeah, it was really fun. I wouldn't mind going back, even though it's a shit ton of people. So let's go into the box office results for the weekend. There were 3 movies that came out. There was The Gunman, Insurgent, and Do You Believe, which is like another Christian-based movie. Do You Believe actually came out in 6th place. So number 5, Kingsman: The Secret Service. Dear God, this thing has gotten so much legs. Or so many legs, man. It just keeps going and going. It came out Valentine's Day weekend, which was well over a month ago, and it's still in the top 5. It's still chugging, and that's awesome because it's a badass movie. It made $4.6 million this weekend on a domestic total of 114 and worldwide total of 283. Its budget was 81, double that, and needs 162 roughly to break even. It's already made $120 million profit. That's incredible. I'm really glad, and I kind of want to see a sequel. So, Kingsman, keep chugging, my friend. Number 4 was The Gunman. Ouch. With $5 million, and its budget is unknown. It does not have a worldwide total. It just has a domestic total of $5 million. So, can't really comment more on that. So, sorry, Gunman. I've not seen it yet, but I heard kind of bad things. So, I don't know if I really want to see it or not. So, number 3 is Run All Night with $5.1 million for the weekend, and its budget is $50 million, but domestically it's only made 19, and worldwide it's only made 26. On a budget of 50, it needs to make about $100 million to break even because theaters take about a third to half of the profits and stuff. So, ouch. This movie's taking it hard. I think it's like Liam Neeson's first flop in quite a while. Number 2 was Cinderella at $34 million. Dear God. So it only dropped by 50%. Domestically, so far, it's made $122 million. Guys, it's made over $120 million in 2 weeks. Holy shit. Worldwide, it's made $184 on a budget of $95 million. So double that. That's $190. So it's about to break even, and it's going to make huge profits. So I have no doubt in my mind that it's not going to succeed. I have not seen it yet. I'm not really too much of a huge fan of the live action stuff, but I'll give it a shot because I've heard pretty good things. And I love the director Kenneth Branagh, who did Thor, Shakespeare in Love, I believe. He's done a lot of cool stuff. I could be wrong on that. I don't really know. And then number 1, you guys know, it's Divergent series, Insurgent, $54 million. Its budget is $110 million, and right now domestically it's got $54 million. Worldwide it's got $72. So to break even, it needs about $220. It's got a long way to go. I really don't like the fact that they're going to break up the 3rd book into 2 parts, following the Harry Potter, Twilight, and Hunger Games trend. Just not a huge fan of that. So stop doing that, guys. I'm talking to the Hollywood industry. So that's it. Insurgent number 1. I thought the first one was okay. I really don't want to see the second one, so I'll probably just read up on the plot points and just kind of finish it that way. So that's it, guys. Thank you for listening to another episode of Real Me and Colin, a movie podcast. I want to, like I said, thank you guys for listening to this every single week. You guys are, I love you all, seriously. You keep me going, and you make me want to keep doing more and better things. At some point, I do want to get a co-host in here, so you guys don't have to rely on me for the whole 30 minutes to an hour. So I'm going to try to find a co-host for you guys. But if you guys want to follow me on Spreaker here, you can click that follow button. You get updates on when I go live and stuff. I'm also on iHeartRadio, so you can find me on there. If you want to follow me on Twitter, take updates on live shows and follow my crazy antics, it's at Real Chase Lee, REEL, Chase Lee, all one word. If you guys want to like my Facebook page, it's where I post movie reviews, the podcast, etc. It's facebook.com/Real Reviews with Chase Lee, all one word. If you guys want to subscribe to my YouTube page, I do movie reviews, podcasts, web series, the whole nine. There's a lot of stuff on there. And I've also started doing my movie reviews live, so that's actually pretty interesting so far. I did my first 2 live, which was Get Hard, but that's also on here. And then I did my home review, the anime movie starring Jim Parsons and Rihanna. Is that it? Is all the social media? If you guys want to find me on We Live Film YouTube channel, I do my segment Can't Breathe Comedy. I post a new episode every Thursday, and it's a lot of fun, so check that out if you are bored. But that will do it for this week, guys. Thank you so much again for listening one more time. I know I keep saying that. I know you're probably just like, Chase, shut the fuck up. But listen, I love you guys. I really do appreciate every single one of you that listen. You guys are fucking badass. So let's see. Next week is the last week in March. I don't. Oh well. I guess I can review Home for you guys. Okay, I'll do that. I'll probably review Home. Even though my review's up on YouTube, I'll kind of get into more detail in the podcast, and I'll talk about maybe my favorite DreamWorks movies or something, and maybe some Netflix, and maybe another movie I see or something. I'll come up with some stuff. You guys know the drill. I usually just kind of gather up everything at the end of the week and just tell you guys what's up in the world of movie news. So tune in next week for another episode of Real Me and Colin, a movie podcast. I'm Chase Lee. I am your host, your savior, and I will make sure that I entertain you every single week, but not really, because I hear I make people cry. That's not true. Anyways, have a good day, have a good night. See you guys next week. This has been Real Me and Colin, a movie podcast. Peace out, everyone.